Hi, my name is Jennifer Simonton, and I am your instructor for Math 112 IN1 for the summer 2021 semester. The purpose of this introductional video is to go over some highlights of the syllabus, show you how to navigate Blackboard and Mymathlab, and answer any questions that you may have. So we're going to start with going over the syllabus in Blackboard. So I am logged into Blackboard. When you click on our course, if you click on the Syllabus tab over here on the left, this is the screen that you are going to see. So when you click on this link, it has the syllabus. Within that, Mymathlab instructions are included, as well as your assignment calendar. Oops, 1 second. Okay. All right. So the general information up here at the top just gives you kind of general information about the course. Just to note here that my office hours are technically scheduled for Wednesday from 12 to 12:50, either via Microsoft Teams or email. However, I am available a lot more than just that 1 hour a week. We have to schedule 1 hour a week, but if that is not a convenient time for you, you don't have to worry about anything. Just email me and we can set something up and work around your schedule. Communication, email is the best way to reach me quickly. I normally try to respond within 24 hours. However, it is usually much faster than that. I check my email constantly throughout the day. So anytime you email me, as soon as I see it, you're going to get a response in a pretty timely fashion. Also, you should be in the habit of checking your SWIC email several times a week. I will be sending out weekly reminders. This is the main means I have of communicating with you, so make sure that you are checking that email account on a regular basis. One other thing to note of importance is that this class does a required proctored testing. So you will need to plan to come to campus about once every 2 weeks to take the required tests and the final exam. So there is more information about that on pages 3 and 4 of the syllabus that we will get to a little bit later on. Okay, remote testing via Teams is not allowed. You have to take it in person. Course description, prerequisites, course objectives, these are things that you can read on your own if you're interested in those. They just kind of give an overview of the topics we're going to cover. This specifically lists all of the individual topics that are contained within each section. So that's just kind of there if you'd like to look at that. We're going to move on here to textbook and course materials. All right, to do all of the assignments in this course, you will be required to sign up for Mymathlab. You do not need to purchase anything to do that. Okay, your course fees include an access code and the course ID, which are found on page 7. So we'll get to that in a little bit. If you would like to have a hard copy of the textbook, this is the textbook that we are using. There is a textbook link within Mymathlab. So if you have that access code, you can access the ebook online. Or if you want to have a physical copy, this is what it is. Also, I recommend that you have a TI-84 graphing calculator. There are some things that we will do that require you to have either the TI-83 or the TI-84. If you choose not to purchase that calculator and do not own one, so if you don't have a graphing calculator, there'll be some things that you will be at a time disadvantage on come test day. Probably not so much on test 1, but definitely on test 2 and test 3 possibly. All right, the grading procedure. All assignments are done in Mymathlab. However, we also will be utilizing Blackboard for lecture to access the lecture notes and the videos. All right, tests again, including the final, are at a testing center of your choice. All other assignments, meaning the homework and the test reviews, can be done on your own. Even though this is an online course, it is not self-paced. There are due dates for things, and there is a penalty for not meeting the due dates. If you do not get homework completed by the due date or the test reviews, there is a 10% deduction in your score, and tests have to be completed by the due date without an exception. All right, the grading breakdown is as follows. Homework overall will be worth 50 points or 10% of your overall grade. Test reviews are a total of 5% of your grade, so they are worth points. There are 3 of them that are worth 5 points. Those are for the 3 regular tests, and then one of them is worth 10 points, the one for the final exam. So that's a total of 25 total points. Tests themselves are worth 60% of your grade. So we'll have 3 regular chapter exams. They're each worth 100 points. That's 300 total points. And then the final exam is worth 125 points, or 25% of your grade. The grading scale is the standard, 90, 80, 70, 60, etc. All right, course navigation. You will be required to navigate both Blackboard and Mymathlab to successfully complete this course. So my recommendation is, before you begin a homework assignment, go into Blackboard, open, view, and take notes on the lecture videos that are posted in the course content tab in the lecture videos folder. Do not skip this step. Okay, this is basically the equivalent of going to class. In an online class, however, you have to find time to fit this into your schedule. Okay, my written out lecture notes, the ones that I go over in the videos, are also posted in the lecture notes folder under course content. There are also embedded videos within each homework problem. So if my video didn't cover something, or you can't remember where to find it, you can always click on a video when you're looking at a homework problem that you don't know how to do, and we'll look at that part in a second. But the lecture videos are basically a version of what I would be teaching if I were teaching this face-to-face. Homework is assigned for every section that we cover. Okay, it is set up as a learning tool, so you have unlimited attempts to get the problem correct. Okay, so if you try it however many times and they finally mark it wrong, you can click the similar exercise button and get another problem with different numbers and do it again. So you can do that as many times as it takes to get the problem correct. Pay attention to the due dates. Okay, homework for the entire semester is worth 50 points, but if you don't get them completed by the due date, you will not be able to earn all of those points. Test reviews. So before each test, there is a test review assigned in Mymathlab. So there are 3 total, because we have 3 regular tests. They are also set up as homework, so you don't have to complete them in one sitting. However, you do not have access to view an example on the test reviews, and you only get 4 attempts per question. So it's kind of a cross between a homework and a quiz, sort of. All right, so you can't do it unlimited times. You get 4 tries, and after 4 tries, if you don't get it right, then it's just marked wrong. And there is no view an example button. Okay, so to find examples or to look up how to do a problem, you're going to have good notes or be able to go back to the lecture videos and figure those out. Right, each of these assignments is worth 5 points. And again, they have due dates, so if they're not done by the due date, there will be a penalty. Tests themselves, there are 3 tests. Each of those covers about 2 to 3 chapters of material, and each is worth 100 points. Again, the tests are taken in Mymathlab at a SWIC testing center. You must make an appointment with the testing center before you're allowed to take a test, and you will be required to have a photo ID when you show up. Okay, and this just kind of goes through the process of what's going to happen when you get there. Each test you'll have 75 minutes to complete it. Once you're finished, you'll click submit. You may use a calculator, either just a general scientific or graphing, but it cannot have a CAS. So it cannot have a computer algebra system. So Inspire with a CAS is not allowed. The TI-89 is not allowed. Anything with a computer algebra system you are not allowed to use. You are also not allowed to use your cell phone as a calculator. The final exam review is just like the other test reviews, only longer because it is comprehensive, and therefore it is worth 10 points instead of 5 points. And then the final exam is comprehensive, meaning it will cover everything you have learned. The final exam review will tell you exactly what topics will be on there. You'll have 2 hours to complete it at the testing center in Mymathlab again, and it is worth 125 points. The deadline for taking the final exam is the last day of the semester, which is Thursday, July 29th. If you would like to receive partial credit on your test and your final exam, okay, as you're doing the problems, when you're taking the test, if you, on your paper, label what number you're working on and show your work, and you turn in that scratch paper when you're finished, I will review it and assign partial credit for any wrong answers. If the answer is right, you just get it right. I don't look for work. But if the answer is wrong, Mymathlab a lot of times will just mark it wrong, and there's a tiny little mistake somewhere, but it's just wrong and you've lost all the points for that problem. But if you have submitted your scratch paper and I can see that you have shown work on that, I will give you some of those points back. Late work, makeup work, again, you're expected to complete assignments by the due date. However, on homework, you'll be allowed to work past the due date, but you'll have a 10% deduction in your grade. That is also true about the test reviews. So if you don't get it done on time, you can still do it, but you can't get 100%. So basically, if you get 100, it'll only give you a 90 because it'll reduce it by 10%. If you miss a test, you must provide appropriate documentation of an excused absence. Okay, please note that vacation or being out of town is not an excused absence. Okay, you'll need to plan around that. Either that means taking a test early or whatever. The student, you are wholly responsible for initiating the makeup process. I am not going to notify you if you've missed a test. That's your responsibility. If I don't hear from you in a day or two after the due date, you're just going to get a 0. At the end of the semester, one missed test score can be replaced by your final exam score, but any other tests that you miss, you get a 0. For an online class, attendance is required, but attendance basically means logging in on a regular basis and completing the assignments. Okay, so I'm going to be checking to make sure that you're completing your weekly assignments. In the summer, we move very quickly, so each week you have like 4 or 5 assignments at least that are due. So you need to be logging in each week and completing those, and that's basically how I take attendance. You don't have to do it at certain times of the day. You don't have to do it every single day, but you need to be keeping up with the calendar. If you don't submit any work in Mymathlab by the end of the day on Thursday, June 17th, you will be withdrawn from the course. Okay, you will be 2 weeks behind by then at least, and too much to do to catch up. This is just, again, a reiteration of what it means to participate in an online course, be able to navigate both learning systems and communicating with your instructor. Most of the rest of this is self-explanatory. This just goes over the core competencies that we address, student assessment, emergency closure. There'll be an announcement posted in Blackboard if that's the case. If you have disability and access accommodations, I just need your paperwork for that. And definition of cheating, academic rigor. I'll just point out here on the cheating, here that this just came out of the college catalog. Basically, if you get caught cheating, you get a 0. End of story. Okay, I had to do that last semester for a student. There was no question about it. I didn't care why. It's just you get a 0 and that's it. If it happens more than once, you get withdrawn with an F. Again, COVID things, I think hopefully as the semester progresses, we'll be moving back to more of a normal scenario, but for now we're still following COVID protocol, so when you're on campus you'd have to wear a mask, etc. And most of the other stuff is things that if they apply to you, that you can read through them. If you have any questions about anything on here that I didn't cover, please do not hesitate to ask. Let's see here. So here are the Mymathlab instructions, okay, this is page 7, I believe. So you just follow these instructions. When it asks for your course ID, it's right here, my name followed by these numbers. And then when it wants your access code, this is what you're going to type in. Okay, you don't have to purchase anything. That is your access code. And then the last page is the calendar. I would at least print out this last page and have access to that to help keep you on track. Good time management will be the key to be successful this semester. Okay, please be encouraged to work ahead. You don't have to work far ahead, but what I mean by that is if all the homework is due on Friday for whatever week we're on, don't wait until Friday at 5 p.m. to start it. Okay, you should be working on it a little bit throughout the week. Okay, we move extremely fast in the summer. Okay, we only have 8 weeks. In the normal semester, we would have 16. So these things that you have to do each week would normally be split into 8 days of a regular semester. Because we would meet 4 days a week, and that would take 2 weeks. Okay, so you're going to have to move quickly, and you're going to have to manage your time well. All right, so each week you'll have about somewhere between 4 and 5 assignments typically. So our week 1, Section 1.5, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3 due by Friday, June 11th. The next week, week 2, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, and the test review. Anytime you have a test, meaning every other week, tests will be due on Friday, so that means all the homework and anything else is due by the day before on Thursday. So sometimes homework is due on Friday if there's no test that week. Otherwise, it'll be due on Thursday if there is a test on Friday. So week 2, we have our first test. Week 4 is our second test. Week 6 is our third test. And then our last week is our final exam, week 8. And notice week 8 ends on Thursday instead of Friday. So that means the homework and the review is due by Wednesday if your exam is on Thursday. Okay. Calendar is subject to change, meaning that the only thing that that would cause a change in the calendar is if Mymathlab has an outage. We had that happen in the spring where they were down for a couple of days and students could not get access to it. So if that happens, then I will adjust things. All right, so if you read through this a little bit more carefully on your own, you have any questions at all, please let me know. All right, so next we're going to look over here at Blackboard, the other folders here. All right, so this next link here is just a link to Mymathlab. If you click on that, it'll take you to the Pearson site to log in. You don't have to utilize that to log in. You can just go into your browser and type in the website. Testing center information. All right, so remember, all tests in the final are required to be taken at a testing center. So this link takes you to the website that gives the hours and the locations. This gives you the guidelines, what their rules are. And this one is your link to scheduling an appointment online if you want to request an appointment online. You can also call them to schedule an appointment, okay, and their contact information is on the website. So these are just web links that'll take you to information about getting your test scheduled at the testing center. The next link here is Success Center information. So SWIC has a Success Center on the Belleville campus and the Granite City campus for the summer. Okay, so their hours are Monday through Thursday, 8 to 6 at Belleville, 8 to 4 on Friday, computers only, meaning you can go in there and use computers, but I don't think that they have people working, a lot of student tutors that day. At the Granite City campus, here's the location and the phone number, but the hours there are 8 to 4 Monday through Thursday and 8 to 1:30 with computers only on Friday. This is just the Success Center, a guide to student success, some information with all the resources that they offer. Okay, and also this during the first week of class, they are offering a boot camp. So I'm going to click on this. This is the boot camp flyer. I would highly recommend, okay, that you consider this. They have it for math, English, and chemistry. So the math boot camp is designed for students enrolled in any of these courses. So we are Math 112. And it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, June 8th, 9th, and 10th from 3 to 5 at the Belleville campus, or there is an online option. All right, and to know whether or not you think or that's going to be helpful, on the back of this flyer, so the second page, is what they call a math boot camp sampler. Okay, I would look through these topics. These are the things that they would go over. And if anything on here looks like something that you do not remember how to do or you have never learned how to do, you are either signed up for the wrong class or you need to go to the boot camp. Okay, many of these things are things that I expect that you already know how to do. We are not going to cover these topics. Okay, some of them we do review. We do talk about slope and graphing lines and writing equations. But like factoring, we don't really go through the process of how to factor things. Okay, that's something you have to know how to do. We will talk about functions. We will talk about domain and range and interval notation. But again, you should have some idea of what most of this stuff is. So if you look through these 16 questions and you can say, you should be able to do at least 10 to 12 of them without an issue. And if you can't, you need to think about going to boot camp. Okay, if there's more than that you can't do, it might be that you're signed up for the wrong class. Okay, so that is something that I just want you to be aware of, that the Success Center is here to help, and it's important that if you need help, that you get help sooner rather than later. All right, so that is the boot camp information. If you would like to sign up for Bootcamp, this is the link to the registration. So if you click on this link, then you can sign up online or get the information on how to get signed up for that. Scotty, this is the online, the Success Center tutoring online. So if you click on there, you can go directly into this the site that will allow you to get registered for that. So they do offer an online option, or like I said, they have hours, in-person hours that you can use as well. And then finally we get here to the course content. So if you click on course content, there are two folders in here. One contains lecture notes, meaning the PDF copy of the written out notes, and the other one contains the lecture videos. So if I click on the lecture notes, they're subdivided into material for test 1, test 2, test 3, and then there's a few sections we cover after our last test. So if you click on this folder, you can see all of the documents for the sections that'll be part of test 1. If you go into the lecture video folder, they're subdivided the same way. The videos that cover the topics of test 1, 2, 3, and then the stuff after test 3. So if you click here, you will see the videos for all the sections that we cover before our first test. Some of them are split into two parts because at the time when I made these, my screen recorder would only allow 15-minute videos. So if the section took longer than 15 minutes to go over, there are 2 videos. If there's only 1 video, then it's a 15-minute video. Moving forward for most things after that first set of test topics, the videos will just cover the entire section because I've got a new version of that recorder that can handle more than 15 minutes at a time. Okay, but you just click on it, it takes you out to the YouTube link and you can watch it. All right, so this is where you go to kind of get the information that you're going to need to do the homework problems. Okay, I'm not really going to use the discussion board too much. If you need to contact me, you're going to email me. And then as your grades are pretty much going to be contained in Mymathlab since all the assignments are in there. So I may transfer them eventually over to Blackboard, but you'll see them in real time for the most part as you complete assignments in Mymathlab. Okay. All right, so next thing I want to go over real quick is just what to expect when you get into Mymathlab. So I'm going to click on this link, and that should take me, sometimes that doesn't like to work, so let's go back here to close out some of this other stuff here. I'll just open up a new tab and go into Mymathlab. So if that link continues to not work or doesn't work for you, you could just go into, from that instruction sheet that is in the syllabus, it gives you the website to get to this screen. All right, so once you've got this all set up, you're going to sign in. And I was already logged in from before, but then you would have to type in your username and password, and then you will see your course once you've gotten registered, and you're going to click on that, 112 IN1, Summer 2021. And this is your home, but if you click on the easiest way to do homework here is to click on the Assignments tab, and then you'll see a list of all of your assignments for the semester. So homework section 1, 5, 2, 1, etc. Then there's your review assignment, and then the test for test 1. And there's all the stuff for the second set of topics, and then your review for test 2, and then test 2, etc. Okay, so they're all listed right here. You can find your grades under the grades tab. I'm probably not going to show them anything here because I don't have any assignments completed. But as you do assignments, right, you can ask it to show the calculation. It'll show you what your grade is. Here's the online textbook. So if you need access to the online textbook, like if you wanted to go and look at stuff in chapter 2, you can click on chapter 2, and then you can say, let's look at section 2.1. And the video presentations, there's individual objective videos that you can watch that are submitted by the publisher. My videos are more of a condense the entire section in 15 minutes versus theirs are individual, each different type of problem. Here's where you can get to the e-text. All right, so basically the whole textbook is right here. And let me just show you real quick when you log in to do an assignment. Let's just click on 1.5. All right, so if you're familiar with Mymathlab, I'm sure all of this is something you've seen before, okay? But if not, it reminds you here you're going to get 10% deducted if you turn this in late. So you would just here click on your first question and go from there. So hopefully before you get to this point, you've taken some notes and watched my lecture video on it and you kind of know what to expect. But if you get to here and you don't know how to do a problem, right, or you haven't had time to watch the video, a lot of people will just log in here and go over here to question help. Okay, so you can ask it to help you solve this problem. It will walk you through step by step, but it won't give you credit for it until you start over and do it on your own. The view an example is what most people find probably most helpful, is because it shows you an example just like this problem, but then you're still able to do the problem that they give you and get credit for it. Here you can watch a video on how to do this problem. This is not my video, but this is a video from the publisher. You can go look at the textbook where this problem is explained. Ask My Instructor will send me an email with the link to the question. So once I see the email and I can see what problem you were working on, I can try to help you that way. Or if you prefer to print it and work it out on paper, you can do that. Okay, so I know a lot of people just like to go in here and use this help menu to get through the homework. If you're going to do that, I would highly recommend that if you're clicking this view an example every time, that you are writing down the example in a notebook so you have access to that later, because on the test review, this button is not available. And you only have 4 tries to get a problem right, meaning that if you don't get it right in 4 tries, it's not going to give you another chance. Okay. All right, so as you start to do that, if you have any issues or questions, you can let me know and I will be happy to answer those and help you out. Okay. All right. Let's see here. That is really about all I was hoping to go over in this video. If at any time at all you have questions about anything, whether it is related to grades or related to homework or related to the videos or anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. All right, I'm looking forward to a great semester, and I hope you all are too. Have a great day.